We are back at the Meeple on Board Vanguard for Spiel 2025, where this year they have really outdone themselves with the amount of people coming and the amount of games. We have some absolute crackers ready for you. So, welcome to So Play We All at Spiel 2025. It's not just board games that Meeple on Board Vanguard does. We also have some of the best role-playing games, and I can say that with absolute certainty because I have read them. And this man here, Tim Roberts from Critical Crit, is possibly the most interesting RPG company out there at the moment.
Thank you.
Seriously, let's take a look at your games. But Tim, Critical Crit, you have been doing amazing game after amazing game for the last few years, and it's pretty much you. How do you keep up?
So that's one thing that recently did change in the business. I'll go back to the how I kept up and got here in a minute. But we have started publishing other people as well, because obviously running the business has taken its toll on my writing time. I hope as well that I can mitigate that by getting someone else to run the business at some point. But I guess I understand that question insofar as I'm very fortunate as well, because I only write what I want to write.
Okay.
So maybe that's some of it. Maybe there is a bit of fear of the industry in writing for the market. And I think sometimes if you just write what you want to write, the passion comes through, you'll also find your audience. So I think also being present at a lot of things, because you have to find your audience, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think you're doing very well, and you're doing very well with things as radical as Punk is Dead, which
Thank you.
I have read. And wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this, firstly, you are specializing in relatively small games. You are not one for writing 400 pages tomes.
No. I'm all about accessibility with games, and I think one thing that puts people off role-playing games are big books, because they feel like they've got a massive rule set to get into, or they've got
just
to get
an investment of time.
and they've got to get everything. So one of the things I did with Punk is Dead and a lot of the games, I call it the Ernest Hemingway approach. Just the telling details, make sure the right amount of information's there, but also it's important that you don't treat your audience like fools or idiots and realize they have got imaginations. All you're doing, you're the kindling for that imagination. You're giving them the initial spark, and then from there they're going to take it and they're going to build the world. They're going to bring the real story to the game. Anyway, that's how role-playing games. I do say in this game in the foreword that this game is not finished. The point it's finished is when the player gets it and makes a story out of it.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, tell me about it, and let's take also a good look, because this is a MÖRK BORG powered sort of game.
It's compatible with MÖRK BORG. So I had the idea for Punk is Dead a long time ago, and I was going to write my own mechanics for it, and ultimately I felt MÖRK BORG is also a game that's based around like a death metal music kind of thing, and I thought, well, you know what, I could probably do that. I can't remember the exact point, but I did have a eureka moment when I thought, hang on, why don't I stick my Punk is Dead game into MÖRK BORG? It has got some peculiarities that even though it works with MÖRK BORG, make it controversial in MÖRK BORG world. We can talk about that
I would love
in a
to
minute.
talk about that,
yes. But it's a game. It's my love letter to Punk. So I was only just slightly too young for Punk, but a lot of my older friends were into Punk, you know what I mean, and I picked it up from those. So and interesting, this is a part of a music trilogy which covers all my music bases as well. So so it's set in an alternative version of the UK, because unless I'm getting into an argument with an American, Punk originated in the UK.
Is there an argument over that?
Oh yes, there is. Yeah, Detroit. yeah, there is. America's got a really good early scene as well, like with the New York Dolls and things. So, and proto-punk definitely.
Yeah, but
I wrote about what I knew, and that was the UK. However, what I did do is I took the UK and made it into a fantastical version of the UK. So there's fantasy elements in this. So there's there's a lot of playfulness with what I know about the areas of the UK, but then bringing fantasy things into that as well.
Okay. So who are the, what was the lore all about? What is this?
So the main,
what are the 5 realms?
Right, so the main lore is that this is after the final war, and the reason there's no more wars is because there's no more weapons. Every weapon has been expended. Now, am I allowed to swear? I'll say effery then, I won't use the full word. So there's a concept in this game, because like all the atoms are fused from all the nuclear bombs, there's quantum effery, I'm going to call it. Okay, I won't use the full term. But basically that's what brings a little bit of weirdness and magic into this world.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have some specific enemy that are like the most evil of evils.
Yeah, so the most evil of evil are based in the southeast of England around Londinium, which has no reference to any place.
Exactly. I think it's purely coincidental.
And these are called the literal corporate vampires. So the company is actually LVC, which is Londinium Venture Capitalists, but generally people throughout the UK or the Un-United Kingdom have renamed them to the literal corporate vampires. They are vampires and they suck the fun, blood and money out of everything. That's their position in society.
So that's the bit that's not fantasy. What's the bit that's fantasy?
So the bit that's fantasy as well, I've drawn in from some ancient lore of, and been playful with it all the time. So King Arthur, everywhere in the UK someone says they've got a piece of King Arthur. He's buried everywhere in the UK, okay? So what I've done is, instead of bringing King Arthur into the lore, I brought Guinevere into the lore. She's the undead queen. And her main thing, so this is background lore, okay? Her main thing in this world is that she wants to find all the parts of her husband that are all over, raise him from the dead and then take over the realm. So she's the big bad in this, and I've kind of given a spoiler away, you can only kill her by saying her name after you've given her that's the true death, so, you know, maybe bleep that bit out of the name. Okay, so another thing I did lean into punk in this as well, because we've spoken a lot about fantasy, but this is a love letter to punk. On every page there's a reference to something punk, band names in sentences or just hat tips to punk bands. The psalms in MÖRK BORG, where the apocalypse comes closer each time, there are 7 psalms, right? I did this one with pirate radio broadcasts.
Okay.
And so there are 7 psalms, but each broadcast uses just like a short bit of London Calling by The Clash, which is a song that is quite an apocalyptic song.
Yes.
So every time you work down the apocalypse, you're interpreting a line from a Clash song in it. So some people, you know, I get some people say, well, the Clash isn't really punk. Well, then I say, when did punk become elitist? You know,
exactly.
Who decides what it is? So.
Exactly. That's missing the point of punk altogether.
Exactly.
Really.
So the emergency broadcast was my interpretation of Psalms, because also pirate radio again plays into that illegal. Like pushing music through when people want to stop music coming through. So.
Yeah, is that rebellious kind of
the rebellious
anti-system sort of
Exactly,
thing?
Yeah. So that was the fun I had with that bit, yeah.
Okay. Now, there's something else that I found very interesting in Punk is Dead, and is that you have weaved music very much into the storytelling engine of the game.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the core things about this game, and the whole trilogy is called Music is Hope. You are a punk band. In this particular game, you are a punk band. So this game is really about anger and frustration and kicking back, and the only way you can do that is through your music. So you're criticizing society through your music. You know, you feel powerless, but this is what you've got. And what that does allow you to do, and here we come to the first controversy with MÖRK BORG, it allows you to spread the message through music, so create rebellions through music. Now, in this game there are mechanics for playing gigs, and if you play 3 epic gigs, that slows the apocalypse down. So some MÖRK BORG fans don't like that, they just want to rush towards the end of the world. My game is, you know, you can slow it down a bit, and that's what for me, that's what music has always been. You know, a very personal thing about when you feel helpless, you can go sit in your room, put some music on, and you get that, again, that spirit of, do you know, maybe I can make a change. Even if you don't, you get that, you know, that anticipation of doing it.
That sounds awesome. This game is already out and available, correct?
It is, yeah. So this game is, I mean, you can get it from us, but it's also in distribution, so you can get it in, you know, your FLGS, you can just go and ask them. We love it when people go out to their local gaming store and buy from them. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because ultimately we don't make as much money, but ultimately we get the sale and more people get to experience it closer to home and support another business. So.
Well, human beings, if you have ever been into MÖRK BORG, this is one for you. If you haven't, as I was, this is a fantastic way to get into it.
Absolutely.
Because I read MÖRK BORG and it was a bit, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
I read that and I did understand that.
It's more accessible. Yeah,
It's a
I've
lot
made
more
it.
accessible.
I've tried to keep the spirit of MÖRK BORG in being eclectic with the designs,
Mm-hmm.
but I also realised I need a book that had some kind of progression through it, because MÖRK BORG is a bit wild. You know, you're knee deep in character creation before you realise you're in character creation.
Correct.
And I put a forward in this to help sort of, you know, people understand how the book is structured as well.
Well, I think that you did incredibly well.
Thank you.
With this, and I really can't wait for people to get it and
Thank you very much.
really have a good play. Tim, thank you very much indeed.
You're
And
welcome.
I look forward to seeing what else you're going to come up with.
There's a lot going on up here. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.